Hello and welcome to Bon Appetina. Today we're going to be making a roasted stuffed pork. Billy is going to be making sweet potatoes. So I'm going to start by cutting this. Billy, while I'm cutting this, will you take this potato, cut it this way, then cut it that way, and then cut it all up?
Dice it all up? Nice.
Yeah, and I want like pieces like that.
Is it sharp enough?
Yes, I just sharpened it. If it isn't, here, you can... Oh, it's painful to watch. Cut it down the middle before you take your fingers off. Okay, so this is a nice piece of pork, and I am going to show you how to fillet it. It's painful to watch. Cut it this way first, honey, because it's gonna slide. Oh, Lord. Okay, so
Not sharp knife. Crazy.
and cut off all those little ugly pieces.
I can handle that.
Okay, so this is a very sharp knife, and that's exactly what you're going to need in order to make this work for you. You can do a tenderloin, which is a longer piece, if you like, but that gives you a smaller circle. I wanted to do this nice and thick piece so that it would be a more substantial, end up being looking more substantial. So what we want to do is to fillet it in a circle. So what I'm going to do is come into it here and then just basically cut it around. We want the thickness to be consistent. So you really want to pay attention. This is probably the most important part of this, and this is really a nice, simple dish to make. Okay, so now I've got it going this way. So now I want to come this way. To get it butterflied. We want a nice, flat, oops. See now, I just made a hole in this. But the thing to remember is that you really can't be afraid. You just have to go for it, because I can fix that. All right, here we go. All right. See now, I've got this nice and flat. And in your corners, you want to just sear it so that it loosens up, so that it lays a little flat. So you're just going to give it a little serrations there, like that. Beautiful. Okay, so now that part of this job is done. I've got a little hole, but it's going to be okay.
How small do you want this?
Oh, that's already a little too small. I wasn't watching them for 1 minute. So yeah, just keep them that size now, because we'll just keep it that size now. Okay, so now we're going to set this aside, and we're going to make the stuffing. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now, let me just show you.
Show me a little trick.
Always put the flat part of the potato down.
Alright, so it doesn't
so it
slide.
doesn't slide enough.
She's a show-off.
Okay, think you can do that? Okay, so now we're going to make the stuffing. For the stuffing, I have got red and green peppers, and that's only because Billy was supposed to get red and yellow peppers, but really wasn't listening to me because he really never does. What is it that my mouth does when I talk?
Wow. That's pretty much what it does.
Okay, so I'm going to put a little pan on.
How would you like the onion? Like chunks?
No, the onion, I would like just
Fine.
half of the onion.
Okay.
And I would like it very fine. My Aunt Santa makes it in rings when she does her sweet potatoes.
She's just Chef Boy at
Yes, yes, Santa's. She's
No
the one
joke.
to watch. So I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in this pan. then we are going to add the red and green peppers. And I have some Vidalia onion already diced. We're going to add those. Oh, so I need a cutting board to cut my garlic. So meanwhile, I'm going to just let this soften up in the pan, and I'm going to add 1 diced apple. Some good stuff right there. Oh. That's outside. And to that, we're going to add some garlic. That's good, honey.
Good?
Yeah.
In here?
Yeah, please. You done with that knife, sweetie?
Yeah.
Can't have it. So, to garlic, it's always nice to add a little bit of granulated salt to your garlic so that it doesn't slip and slide all over your cutting board. It's a little trick that my friend Karen taught me, and I've been using it ever since. And we're just going to give this a nice coarse chop, because you know I like all my stuff rustic. How you doing over there, sweetheart?
I'm good, I'm done. What would you like me to do with this half moon onion?
Just leave it there for a second. So we're just going to add that to the pan, give it a little stir, and let this simmer down. Simmer done now.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, so meanwhile, I have some already prepared. But I'll finish this so that you can see exactly what next steps to take, which is the breadcrumbs finally at the end. And you get a nice broken down, it's a stuffing basically. And we're going to take our roast. How was the deli today, Bill? What is that?
What is that? How did that get in there? Jeez, you can't turn your back on Bill for a second.
Honestly. Okay. So, do you want to rock on with that, or should I just do that after and you can just keep your company?
What is that?
That is going to be roasted potatoes. We should probably get this in the oven. Actually, so let's do this first. Okay. So to the roasted potatoes, very, very simple. Bill cut up the potatoes, and if you have a Bill, it's great. This is magically done.
Where would you be without a Bill?
Where would I be without a Bill?
No.
I would chop
I
them
don't
out
want to think about it, yeah.
I'd be crying. Okay, so we're going to add some beautiful olive oil to this. Some coarse salt. Some onion and garlic powder.
That's the secret ingredient.
It is, to everything. Some dried rosemary, if you have fresh, that's even better. And a little bit of chicken bouillon.
Another special ingredient.
It is, one that I use often, you're right though. A little bit of sage. And how do we do this? Just a whisper over the top, right?
What?
Just a hint. And some ground black pepper. Let me get Bill some gloves so he can mix that. Here, honey. just give that a nice little twist.
Well, it's time you realize my talents.
Good Lord. Okay, so now this is a really weird cut to be making this in, but where there's only 3 of us left at my house, and my son is off to college, we just need a little bit. So I don't like making a whole loin, which you end up cutting and it ends up being a bigger slice. And my family does not eat leftovers. So whatever I make, can you believe it? No leftovers in this house. So I chose this cut because I like the size, a little harder to cut, but I think you get the idea that it does not have to be perfect. You can get a hole in it. It's not a big deal. Don't be afraid.
Would you like this in the oven while you're
yes,
placing
please.
your stuffing?
Did you get all the oil incorporated?
Yes.
All right. And we're just going to
Put it in the bottom of it?
No.
There's no room in there. All the racks are on top.
Honest to God. Look at that. Can you please look at this? Can you get that from there? That is gorgeous.
It's not part of it.
Okay, we're back. Okay, so this we're going to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar, some salt.
Here comes the onion and garlic.
Onion and garlic.
It even goes into desserts.
It does not.
Can you make
I'm
one
gonna
with
put that
that?
down on low and let that soften up. Did I what, honey?
Can you make a dessert with that? No?
I'm making a dessert today.
No, I mean in general. Can you make one with onion and garlic in it? You'll find. You'll come up with something.
If it's
Your
a
mind's
challenge.
already racing.
Okay, so now, so now you don't want too much. You want this to be like 1/4 of an inch high, and you don't want it to go all the way to the ends because then it'll just spill out. So this smells delicious, doesn't it?
It does, very much so.
Okay, well, you know you like the peppers with the balsamic, and that's why I added it. Okay, so now we're going to roll this up. And just try to keep maybe too much.
Looking forward to this twine. How are you gonna wrap that?
Huh?
Can't wait to see how you're gonna wrap that.
Well, you know I already practiced it. And you know what? I use the better cut of meat for the one to be pre-made. And I wish, you'll see when it comes out, it came out perfect. This one was a little harder because it was shorter and fatter. Some of the problems I run into.
Can't take this knot back.
So we're just going to tie, we don't want to tie it too tight, not too loose, because we don't want to squish it and have everything come out. So
That was awesome.
It's in order to get it up underneath there, let me just show you a little trick. Just go over to the side and shimmy it to get it under there. Just tie it in a little knot. And this twine, Billy got for me this morning from the butcher shop. Told him to go look for it in the gadget section where I think you can find it. But when Billy asked the butcher, what, did he pull it out of his pocket or out of his apron?
It was in the front of his pants, yeah.
It was in the front of his pants?
Yeah.
Like in a front pocket, or like did he go in his jeans to get it?
Yeah, wearing jeans together.
It was in his jeans?
Yeah.
Ew.
No, he actually wasn't the butcher either. He was just the guy with the... he was a customer, actually.
He just happened to have...
tying the pig in the back, yeah.
He just happened to have some of this?
Yeah.
That's a little scary. I love that story. Okay. Now the reason I'm putting so much twine on this is because I'm going to pan sear it so as to seal the flesh, seal the flesh so that when it bakes, the moisture is retained. It doesn't lose any moisture because it's coming up against that almost a scab, if you will.
It's flesh and scab, yeah.
Yeah, really not appetizing at all. But them's the facts. Okay, so let's just take off all this little excess. And the reason we have this excess...
Because you cut it wrong. Just a minute.
Wait till you see the finished one. It's beautiful. Okay, so this we're going to take off. Put it aside, and then I'll show you how to add the breadcrumbs to that. And now we're going to make ready this pan.
Which we're going to add onion and garlic.
We're not.
Oh, no.
No. Here, hold this. Like you can grant wishes with that. Still let that die? That went nowhere? Okay, crickets. Okay, so to this, we're going to put this up to a medium heat. And we're going to add some nice hurl. We're going to let that get super hot. We're going to add some salt to this meat. And some pepper. A little bit of onion and garlic. A little bit of the chicken bouillon. I had a... Where are my tongs?
Not here.
Would you grab me some? Thank you. Meanwhile, I'll have a little sip.
Where would they be?
In the dishwasher on the top.
You always send me in here. You want me
For his facial.
You want me to burn myself. This is the go-go gadget version.
Thank you, honey. Yeah. Alright. So now, we're going to take this over to this nice hot pan. And we're going to turn on the fan. So this fan, when I did the kitchen, and rather than cutting all, what do you call them, joists, or what do you call them up there? Beams, because we had to put metal beams going this way. We had to run the duct for this right out the front door. So when you step up to my front door, you get blown in the face with whatever I'm cooking.
By that right there?
Yeah, this jets right out to the front door.
It's hilarious.
It is funny. Okay, so we're going to take this beauty. And we're going to...
This is smooth.
Sear it on all sides. This is very exciting. And this also gives it a nice glossy brown. And we're going to make canned gravy out of the drippings. Drippings.
Dripping.
Drippings.
Dripping?
Mm-hmm.
Dripping.
Mm-hmm.
Say that.
How was the funeral today? The way...
Very sad.
Aw.
Everybody was crying.
That's so sad.
Good guy though. It's a long life.
How old?
89.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to go to 101, Nana Camilla?
Yes, absolutely. I want to live to 100. I want people to wonder when I'm going to drop. Like, damn, she's teetering.
Teetering that line.
She going down or not? I want to have no teeth. I want to wear like all matching crazy stuff, like maybe a bonnet or something. Look how curled
Put the
up.
coat on.
What color? Kitty, 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 kitty?
Yeah. Hey, kitty, 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 kitty.
Yeah. That's what I want.
Make sure Stella's beside you.
Oh, my Stella. I'll have had 5 Stellas by then. See, I'm 50 now. Another 50 years, 5 Stellas.
Stella's going to go longer than 10 years.
I hope so. Love that
Stella's
taste.
going to be longer than 10 years.
Yeah. 10. You can get a dog to live 15. I had a cat that lived 18. We veered off from the cooking. How did we get here? Oh yeah, we had a friend.
How did we get here?
We had a friend that went. Okay, so now you don't want to touch it until it releases itself. So you keep the heat high enough so that the meat sears, browns, and releases. So we can take a break because this is going to take a minute. Okay, so now while that is searing, Billy, we're going...
Oh, I got a why?
Pardon me?
I got a why?
Why what?
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 Huh?
You said Bill E.
Oh,
I got
see.
a why?
While that's searing, we're going to add just a little bit of breadcrumbs to this. Just so all the juices can collect. And that's your stuffing. It's that simple. Onions, apples, peppers, salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of balsamic vinegar, and some breadcrumbs. And then you would let that cool and you would use that as your stuffing. So this has seared on 2 sides. We're going to turn this over again. And you do whatever you need to do to get it to turn because you want it to, you don't want to make it fall apart. So while your meat is searing, you could take this opportunity to open up some wine for yourself. I like white with pork.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's turn this one more time. All right, so we can get this into our serving plate. Okay. So now we're just going to get this onto a pan. Isn't that pretty?
That's great.
Okay, we got 9 minutes left on that. There's only so much one woman can do. Okay, I think this is ready. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Put this one in. really. Get this in, and these potatoes look right. All right. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yum.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's great.
Okay, so now we're going to let this rest for at least 10 minutes. Then we're going to cut it and serve it alongside these beautiful potatoes. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so now this is ready to be cut. And we're just going to cut these strings. And remove them. How pretty is this?
Crickets! Looks great. I'm looking forward to you making the incision. Let's see.
Isn't that gorgeous?
How long has it been in the oven?
We put it in at 350 for 55 minutes. Isn't that gorgeous?
That looks great.
So I would like to put a little bit of a balsamic reduction. Your wires give me anxiety.
Are you gonna talk?
Yeah. Now would you please look at this? What man wouldn't be happy coming home to this? Really, it's just gorgeous. Put some of these beautiful taters on there. You know boys like their taters. Ooh, Stella wants to come in. So really, isn't that just spectacular? How happy would you be coming home to this? And how wonderful is that? It only took us 50 minutes to make it. Billy did do the chopping of the potatoes, but really I did everything else. And it did only take us 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Not counting the time that we let it sit for 10 minutes. And it's very pretty and super, super tasty. The balsamic glaze you can get at the grocery store, or you could boil down your own balsamic glaze simply by putting 2 cups of balsamic vinegar on the stove with a half a cup of sugar and just let it boil down really, really slow. Takes about 25 minutes to get a nice reduction. And that's it for today. That's what we've got. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope to see you guys next time on Bon Appetina.